Hey y'all, and welcome back. I promise at some point that these lights behind me will be going back up, but we've just had a couple of things kind of going on, and little things like that end up getting put on the back burner, which is okay because I actually don't really mind the lighting the way it is. It's super plain, but oh well. In my last video, I promised a drugstore tutorial, and that is what I would like to do today. Right before the New Year's, I was on the Wet n Wild website, and they had like a year-end sale, 40% off all kinds of really good stuff. And I picked up a couple of their palettes because they're 40% off. And one of the ones that I just could not wait to try is this one called Cosmic Collision. Look at the colors in that. They're just, I don't know, Wet n Wild in particular, and I guess the drugstore kind of more in general, they are just stepping up their game. And these colors are so beautiful. Like, I was just so surprised when I saw it. I said, oh my god, this is Wet n Wild now? Anyway, so what I'd like to do with this today is kind of do a cut crease, like fill in kind of wing. I don't know if that makes sense. But I've tried something similar before. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I did a look that was inspired by a specific bottle of whiskey. It was for a collaboration. I was so proud of that look, but I just couldn't get this gradient right. And so what I want to do today is try to recreate that sort of with different colors and see. It's about 6 or 7 months ago, so I really want to see if I've improved in that amount of time and just kind of give it another shot. I am going to be using these 3 colors here, this kind of pearl, a light purple, and a dark purple to create the gradient wing on my eye. But before we get into any of that, I kind of want to trace it, so it's going to be outlined in black, and the interior is going to be the pearl to dark purple gradient. But we gotta outline it first. And this doesn't really matter so much. It's just to get the shape. It doesn't have to be beautiful. I should also say that I have already done my brows, obviously, and I have primed and set my lids. All I did was use a concealer. I dabbed it on my lid and all the way up to the brow bone with my ring finger, and then set it with a translucent powder. Okay, I've zoomed you guys in a little bit. Now you can see the breakouts all over my face today. And I'm going to start out by outlining the shape that I want. So like I said, this doesn't have to be beautiful. It's really just to get the shape of the wing going. And I'm using the Maybelline Eye Studio gel liner here. It's in black. And I'm using a very fine-tipped little liner brush. So I am going to dip in to this liner. I brought my giant mirror over here to the side, and I'm going to do it in this mirror instead because it gives me a much better idea of the actual shape that I'm getting and the angle that I'm getting it at. So I hope you guys can see this, but I'm going to do it this way instead. Maybe not. There's a cat here. Like I mentioned, these don't have to be beautiful. It's more right now just a guide for us to put these shadows on with. So I told you the 3 that I wanted to use were these 3 right here. So let's go ahead actually and do a quick swatch. Okay, so here are the 3 shades. They were all really creamy. I think the middle, these top 2 actually, were a lot nicer feeling than this one. I felt like that one was a little more chunky, but the color payoff is pretty good. I didn't actually take too much. These are my swatch fingers. I didn't actually take too much of each of these shades, so I'm hoping that this will work nicely. Online it says that these can be used wet or dry, and I'm thinking I'm gonna get the most payoff with these shimmers wet. So I've got a little flat brush here. I think this is actually a concealer brush, but oh well. And I'm gonna give it a quick spritz And let's see. Using it wet is like wiping off my face. So maybe let's try with my finger instead. See, most times I don't even know why I bother with anything else because my finger works wonderful. I'm gonna do a streak of purple here in the middle. That will blend out just for now. I'm gonna lay it down. And we're gonna lay down this dark shade, but I think this was a mistake. And I actually need a brush for this. Okay, much better with the brush. We're gonna clean this edge up in a bit, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like, it's all gonna go away. And now I'm just kind of going through with my finger and blending these out a little bit and into each other. This just kind of goes to show you that I have a whole plan when I go into these videos. Like, this is what I think is going to work, and I lay everything out, and then sometimes you just get disappointed because things don't work. So sometimes you just kind of learn as you go along, and this time I have had to learn a lot. With the colors all blended, I'm going to go back in now with that same liner, same brush, and this time we're going to do the outline for real. So this is where we actually want to be really precise and try to have the same thickness line through the whole wing. I went ahead and did the other eye off camera while I had both cats galloping around through the house. But once you start filling it in and redoing the liner to the thickness and, you know, like with the precision that you want, you'll start noticing that with these shadows, you can pretty much easily erase the bits of liner that were in the wrong spot. That's why we just went like a really light layer. It's really easy to cover up if you made a mistake, and I think it's turned out pretty well so far. You can tell though that the ends are still a mess. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a little piece of tape. You can use whatever tape you have handy. I just ran out of Scotch tape, so I'm using this old makeup tape. And I am going to line up this tape with the angle of wing that I want to create. So I'm thinking right about here actually is a good shape. With the tape down, I'm going to go back into this gel liner with my tiny little liner brush, and I'm just going to draw a line here right along the liner, right along the line that I have created with the tape. And at this point, you can peel the tape off and just go in with a makeup wipe, or you can use concealer and just wipe away everything that falls underneath that line that you just created. Okay, I am back. I have my face makeup done, and all I want to do now is do the lower lash line, and I also want to tight line my waterline just to kind of bring the whole look together. So I picked out the NYX Faux Blacks Inner Eyeliner. in Black Hole, and it's a really deep purple shade, almost the same kind of shade that we put on the outer corner. So we're going to do the top and bottom water lines. Just be gentle, just kind of take care not to get it onto your lid unless it's like in the outer corner, otherwise you'll definitely be able to tell, and that's kind of like, that's my fear right now, is that I'm gonna blink and do that. And with the top done, now we're gonna move to the lower waterline. This is much less scary. For the lower lash line, I'm kind of thinking I want to go back in to this dark shade, or this dark purple that we used, and just use that on the lower lash line. I just don't want to do too much with this look, especially because my eyes are trying to water right now, and I'm trying to do my best to stop it. So I'm thinking we're going to do this deep purple right up in the lash line, as close as we can to the lash line. Now all I'm going to do is use a clean brush, and I'm going to just run this under the lower lash line a little bit, just to diffuse the edges of that shade so it's not such a harsh line. And we are almost done. I think I'm actually going to take just a little bit of the same highlight here that I used on my cheeks, because I think it'll help tie everything together. And I'm going to run a little bit of this highlight up here on the brow bone. I wanted something just a little bit of a softer color because we have a lot going on with the eyes already. Okay guys, and this is the finished look. All I did was pop on some lashes. These are my favorite pair of my Zori Cosmetics lashes. These are in Desire. I put on some mascara, and then I topped everything off with a nude lip. This is the I Love Sarah He and ColourPop Ultra Glossy Lip in Kirby. You guys can probably tell that the tutorial bit of this didn't quite go as planned. Like I said, I plan out everything ahead of time, but I don't test these looks, so I don't know, 100% if like this brush will work or my finger will work, or in this case, like using a wet brush did not work. But the end result is exactly what I had in mind. I am so pleased with this. This turned out way better than my first attempt at like a gradient cut kind of wing. So I am really excited about it. I do kind of have to tilt my head at the right angle, and you can see the whole thing from like the perspective that I have in my head, but that's okay, starting to kind of accept my eye shape, except that it's just a little different from everyone else's. As far as this Cosmic Collision palette goes, I really like it. I do not recommend setting your lid like base, whatever you use as your base, and then going in with a wet brush, because that did not work. But the shadows themselves were really nice. They blended really easily. It didn't take me very long at all to blend all these out. But the only thing is they have a lot of fallout. So I highly recommend, if you're going to do anything with this palette, especially the dark shades, I would do your eyes first and then do the rest of your face. And this does retail at wetnwild.com for $4.99. I think that is a pretty good buy. I think that makes up for all the fallout that you might get from this. But word of warning, I went to my local CVS next to my work building on my lunch, and they were selling the same palettes for $7.99. So buyer beware. Double check the price before you go buy it because online it's only $4.99, which is a much better deal. I hope you guys did enjoy this tutorial. I feel like it's been a long time since I've sat here and really done a tutorial, and it just didn't go the way I planned, but the final look came out the way I planned, so I am okay with it. If you guys did like this video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and remember, if you haven't subscribed already, please do consider subscribing. There's going to be a button right up here, or you can hit that red subscribe button down below before y'all leave. I hope you guys are having an amazing week so far, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye y'all!